Hello everyone and welcome to the Open Pakistan webinar series. The Open Pakistan webinar series is an initiative of the Open Program for Pakistan. These programs provide professional development opportunities to English language teachers and learners from all across Pakistan. These programs include open global online courses, massive open online courses, webinar series, and then engaging our alumni into different fruitful activities. These programs are fully funded by the Regional English Language Office at the US Embassy Islamabad. Evolution is the local implementing partner in Pakistan. If you wish to stay updated about Relo Pakistan and its opportunities, you can visit www.facebook.com/Relo Pakistan. You can also subscribe to Relo Pakistan YouTube channel. If you wish to stay updated about Open Program for Pakistan, you can visit www.evolution.com.pk/open programs. Under the series of 7, today we are broadcasting our webinar 7.3 and the topic for our webinar is Quality and Accessibility in Online Learning. And the presenter for today's topic is Shahrukh Shakeel. Shahrukh Shakeel is an Open Pakistan alumnus who have been teaching English language for more than 7 years at different school and language centers. Presently, he is working at Army Public School and College as a senior school teacher for English language. Shahrukh has done Masters in English Literature and Linguistics from National University of Modern Languages in 2019. His association with Relo program started in 2019 with the online course of TTLO. Since then, he has been participating in different programs of Relo, such as webinar and volunteering in English Language Expo 2020 held at Greenwich University. He has worked as a mentor in Relo online course of Fundamental of Online Teaching executed by Michigan State University. Today's webinar will enable the participant to understand the concept of quality and accessibility in online learning, to know the essential of web and content accessibility, last but not the least, to develop a course with maximum online accessibility. So I would like to welcome Shahrukh to present a webinar. It's all over to you, Shahrukh.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. This is Shahrukh Shakeel. First of all, I would like to thank Team Evolution and of course Relo Regional English Language Office for their services in Pakistan for the development of English language. So let's begin with the topic quality and accessibility in online learning. As you know, with the start of pandemic, schools, colleges, universities, the all education system in Pakistan went online. And since education, online learning or education was not a common norm in Pakistan, so the teachers and the students both were seen struggling every day in their lesson delivery and learning, and students were struggling to access the content of the lesson every day. So this could be minimized, these hurdles. In online learning, the learners are from various backgrounds with certain abilities and disabilities, with some with minimum resources, some with abundance of resources. So while designing an online course, we have to keep in mind the resources our learners or our students may have got and the certain disabilities they may have. So the best course will be the one that keeps in consideration all these concept of accessibility in online learning. To begin with, let me share one of the story of an 8th grader that I came across while gathering the information for this webinar. That 8th grader shared his story with me of his online exams. He was taking online exam. After the exam, he was supposed to take the picture of his paper and upload it on the school learning management site. Unfortunately, the school LMS did not allow any other format than JPEG. So the student attempted the paper, he took the picture of his paper and tried to upload it on the website. The picture was not clear enough. So actually the device he was using was not good enough to take the clear picture. His parents were away, there was no elder sibling to help him, and unfortunately he could not upload the clear picture and he was not graded for that particular paper. I'll refer back to this story in later part of my webinar. So let's move forward. Let's see the objective of this webinar. Through this webinar, we will be understanding the concept of quality and accessibility in online learning, know the essentials of web and content accessibility, and develop a course with maximum online accessibility. We see on one hand, the online learning has provided great opportunity for to anyone who wants to enroll himself in online learning. But on the other hand, while designing an online course or the LMS for that course, learning management system, one has to keep in mind that the students or learners in an online course will be from various background, living in different parts of the city or the country, or in some cases, in some courses, there are the learners from other cultures, from other countries as well, from foreign countries as well. So the best LMS will be that will offer optimum accessibility in the LMS. Obviously, the learners that are enrolled in while designing an online course or the LMS for that, the learning management system, one has to keep in mind the learners for that online course or that online learning will be from various background with certain ability and disabilities, with limited resources. Some might have abundance of resource, other might not have the particular resources, particular gadgets required for the course. So the best LMS will be that will offer the course or the content in a way on the LMS that is accessible by all people, either with limited resources or with the abundance of resources. So we see on one hand, this online learning has provided great opportunity to anyone who is living far away to do the online courses. But at the same time, these online courses may have serious hurdles if we do not design our LMS or the courses with the optimal accessibility and the universality in it. So what do we mean by universality of design in online courses? Universality of design in online learning refers to quality and accessibility of course material and user interference with the web, means LMS, regardless of learners' abilities and disabilities to access the course material. Obviously, in a course or in a program, in the online program, there are learners from various background. They might have a poor vision. The other learner might not have a proper connectivity of internet. Similarly, some other learner may have maybe hard of hearing. See, so this all should not be a hurdle for a learner. Any learner with this disabilities should not be kept off from learning. They also have equal right to the information or to learning as others. So the best LMS for learning is the one which offers optimum accessibility. The director and the inventor of World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee, he says the power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone, regardless of disabilities, is an essential aspect. So let's see what are the essentials. What are the things that we have to include in the online, in the LMS of online learning? So essential of web accessibility includes alternatives for all the disabilities that affects learners' accessibility to the web. The LMS should be designed in a way that caters the need of the learners who is hard of hearing, is blind, or has poor vision or any other disability. Uh, Experts suggest multimodal access to all content of the LMS, such as adding caption or providing a script for an audio or video lecture, can help the deaf learners take advantage of the lesson equally. Obviously, if there is a video lesson and one of our learner is deaf, so there should the caption will help him. Similarly, if we have added the script with our video lesson, the script of that lesson will be beneficial for the deaf learner or anyone who is screen blind. So for him the script will be the alternative. So these alternatives like adding the script or caption, these things make the LMS accessible by all the learners. Similarly, LMS should be designed that can be accessed by mobile or laptop equally. One of the best tool for the blind learner is the screen reader. How it helps? You see, it converts the item on the screen into braille or speech. Thus, it serves the blind learners equally as the other learners. Another another thing to include in the LMS, that is screen reader. Means LMS should be designed to allow screen reader to read the text or whatever there is on the screen, so that our blind learners can access the content easily. You see what it does? It actually converts the item on the screen into braille or speech. Thus, it serves the blind learners equally as other learners. You see this diagram or this picture here. You see how we can control it via keypad, and then control via voice command. And then you see this is the text highlighted or selected here. How the text can be changed or translated into a braille output and synthetic audio as well. So this is the feature of LMS as well, that an LMS should allow screen recorder or screen reader on the LMS, so that our students uh, who has poor vision or are blind can access the content easily. Remember, when we talk about accessibility, we not only refer to people with disabilities, with physical disabilities, but we also talk about people with situational disabilities. Like you see, non-availability of laptop or computer. In some cases, like in the middle of the course, students might lose his laptop or his laptop become faulty. Similarly, temporary disability to use arm or loss of glasses, low connectivity of internet. Sometime for hours and hours there is low connectivity and our student cannot participate in a synchronous class. Similar broad daylight causing screen blur. Obviously in online learning we are at different locations at different part of the day, and learners should be given the opportunity to participate in the and broad daylight is causing screen blur, noisy surrounding. These things are also limitations in online learning. So the LMS should allow the users to interact with the content in different formats. Think of the student who has not got a laptop or a computer at home, so can get the prints of the lesson. If the lesson is printable and downloadable, so obviously the learner can print it through some other sources and can read the content of the lesson. Or the script, if we have added the script in our video lecture, The learner will be able to read the script if there is a noisy background, or read or watch a video lesson through uh, subtitle or captioning if he's in a noisy background, or if he's in a place where there's uh, where there is bright sunlight. So one important thing in LMS, that is the learners should be given to one most important thing. One of the important feature of LMS is the input. The input that is uh, one of the important feature of LMS is learners formats of input in the LMS should also be given equal. One of the important feature of an LMS is also learners format of input. It should also be given equal importance. A learner may have permanent or situational disability such as broken arm, loss of glass, or other technical issue that it will make him um, uh, handicapped or disabled to upload certain or to upload or to submit certain assignments. Given the option of different format of input, a learner who has above mentioned problems can avail the benefit of different formats. Here, let me refer back to the story of that child that I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar. If that child, or if that LMS of that school where the child was, here let me refer you back to the story that I shared in the beginning of my webinar. Uh, if that school LMS had allowed the child to upload the picture in various formats, uh, let's suppose if the child was unable to take the clear picture, uh, he could write the picture in the text format on Word file or on document format, and could upload it on the LMS if the LMS had allowed it. The, unfortunately, that LMS was not designed to give multi-modal access to the learner. If the learner had multi-modal format of input, here let me refer you back to the story of that child that I mentioned in the beginning of my webinar. If that child school's website or the LMS had allowed multi-modal format of input, the child could have written his paper in Word document and uploaded it. But unfortunately, the LMS was not designed in that way to allow multi-modal format of input. So this is one of the benefits if we allow our learners to submit their assignments in more than one way. Let me share you personal experience of mine. Some months earlier, I was enrolled in one of the online program of Michigan State University that was uh, let me share one of my own experience that was of online. Here, let me share one of my own experience of an online course uh, that was fundamentals of online learning uh, offered. Let me share one of the let me share my own experience of an online program that was fundamental of online learning offered by Rallo and executed by uh, uh, Evolution at Michigan State University, where I was uh, uh, let me share my own experience here of an online course that was fundamental of online learning that offered by Rallo and executed by uh, Evolution at Michigan State University. in which I was enrolled as mentor. So there we including the mentor had to upload the video response to a lecture or to a question by the instructor. So some of the students failed to do that because the tools that we had to use, we could not successfully download that tool and use it successfully. So the learner allowed us to, some of us who could not do that uh, uh, in video format, so he allowed us to do that in written format. So some of the learners wrote wrote their uh, wrote their responses in word format and uploaded there. So that allowed every member of the uh, course to participate equally. So this is how we can make our LMS or our online programs more accessible and more beneficial. Uh, After that, there are some features of screen as well. Means option to enlarge the text or daylight features of LMS help the learners to navigate the LMS even outdoor. You must have seen uh, many apps or application in even mobile. They offer. Then there are some screen features of an LMS, that is the options to enlarge the text or daylight feature of LMS. Obviously, sometime our then there are some screen features of the LMS, such as uh, the option to enlarge the text on the screen. Obviously, every reader is not at ease to read the smaller text. So to enlarge or to minimize the text or to this option helps a lot. And the daylight feature of LMS will help the learners to navigate the LMS even outdoor easily. Here is some basic checklist for online content accessibility. You can see text and contrast. The text with the background should be in contrast. Uh, uh, the better the contrast is, the better or the easier it is to read. You can see I have put a picture here. You can see these are the good contrast on the left side, black on white, gray on white, and here white and orange. These are not some good contrast. So this has to be keep in mind as well. This has to be kept into consideration. Here is the checklist for online content accessibility. You see, such as text and contrast. You can see in the last, you see, so here is some basic checklist for online content accessibility. Text and contrast. Text and contrast, as you know, the now this is the basic checklist for online content accessibility, such as text and contrast. The text in the LMS or on the website should be in contrast with the background so that it is clear to read. I have highlighted here some contrast with text or background contrast here. You can see on the right side, this text and background contrast are the common one and are easier to read. You can see black and white, gray and white, and then here white and then orange. You see these contrasts are not that much easier to read. So the better the contrast is, the easier it is for the learners to read. Now you see text style. The text style should not be so flamboyant. It should be readable only. Alternative text for images and graphs. Our learners might, some learners might have cognitive issue to understand the image or graph. So the alternative text for the images and graphs will help them to understand the image or graph, the message and the graphs or image easily. Multimodal access to the content, that just we talked, that our lesson should have the script, then audio format of that, the video format as well. If a lesson is designed in the video format, so it should also allow to change it into audio, and the script of that video should also be available. Then edit context, obviously when you are giving a lecture or a lesson, so that there should be a context with that topic or with the lesson, so that it is easier for the learner. External links, so that students can learn edit context. Edit context, this is more something that relates to teaching pedagogy, like obviously when there's a lesson or there's a topic, so there should be some background knowledge or background context as well, so that it is easier for the learners. And then external links, obviously uh, an LMS or any lesson should provide the external links as well, so that students can read more about the information or about the topic, about the lesson. And keyboard navigable content, obviously this is also a most important thing to make a course or make a LMS more accessible. In case there is problem in a mouse, or if the mouse is not working, the LMS should be then accessible by keyboard as well. So these are the features that makes an LMS uh, an LMS. So these are the features that make an LMS perfect or uh, most accessible. So that's all from my side. I'm open for criticism and comments and suggestions as well. So, Allah Hafiz, bye bye.
Thank you so much, Shahrukh, for such a wonderful webinar presentation. If you have any comments, question, or any suggestions, please feel free to write us on open@evolution.com.pk. Till then, happy teaching and learning. Thank you.